What do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the verticals that we're working on with regards to video?
As you guys know, we've been doing a lot of Twitter spaces. In fact, we've been doing a Twitter space every day. And now we are going to start exploring video. As you can see, we have Noggles on. We have these filters on because I guess we're not trying to dox ourselves and we're trying to look super cool and nounish. But yeah, I think that video is super powerful. And it just really connects people. It gives people human interaction. You know, that's why people watch Joe Rogan or watch any other podcast when they could just listen to it. So I think introducing a video vertical is something that's just going to help us grow. And it's just something that's fun. You know, we're going to get on and talk about various topics, various proposals, and other fun things. And yeah, edit it in post and put it out. And I think it's a great addition to what we're doing.
So right now for video content, we've got a few different things on the go. One of them is that we are streaming every single Noun O'Clock show and as many of our soapbox shows as we can. So Ben, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so with the soapbox, we're enabling Nouns DAO extension communities to take over and run their own episodes from the Noun Square account, and we'll stream to YouTube. And yeah, so it gives them a chance to create their own show and bring their community into the Noun Square and treat the square like an old town square. And you know, that's where we imagine everyone in the Nouniverse coming to gather and see what's going on around the Nouniverse with all of the different communities and see what they're up to, have contests and all sorts of fun things happening. And yeah, I mean, I think that's the core of the soapbox, you know, allow them to get up on the soapbox and tell everyone their stories and why they've extended nouns in the direction they have, and, you know, get into those different domain-specific niches that they're all embracing.
Yeah, 1 week of soapbox, and it's already been received quite well. We had a few days last week where we doubled our total viewers on Twitter just by inviting other communities in to host their spaces. And then we heard back from those communities too, like Little Nouns and, of course, Food Nouns, saying that they got a lot of viewers as well from our side of things. So definitely the win-win piece is proving out. I told one story earlier too that I want to tell again because I thought it was cool. But we did a Little Nouns soapbox last week, and then we did a draw for a free Little Noun, which was put up for a contest by Al409 from Little Nouns. And the winner of that draw, which was a retweet picker, was actually someone who's almost always on our Noun O'Clock's spaces, but she hadn't actually been involved with Little Nouns before. And now ever since then, she's been using the Little Macaroni as her PFP and is starting to get involved in Little Nouns. So I think that's just an anecdotal example, though, of the kind of cross-pollination that we're likely to see from Soapbox going forward.
You know, the idea we had when creating Soapbox is completely, you know, the vision was correct, basically. And that we're seeing on these like first debut show nights for these new soapbox shows, the same awesome turnout that we see at our shows. So I think that we knew that implementing people to come through a Noun Square hosted space would allow for that to happen. So people could utilize our audience. We could get to know other audiences more. And we kind of, I think Ben said it perfectly in Discord one day. He said, you know, we're better off all combining forces.
I think it's been an amazing month, and I think that we're doubling down on our ability to become a platform for not only nouns, but also the Nouniverse in general. So we're becoming kind of like a place, the town square, exactly what we wanted it to be from the first day, where other communities also come in and use that space to have their own place to speak and connect. So I think that's really valuable. And the second thing that I think has been clear is that we're becoming kind of like another place where Nouns DAO is channeling funds to proliferate nouns. So similar to Small Grants or Prop House, we are basically using our contests and other ways to basically proliferate the meme. And I think that's going to be really interesting to see how it evolves. Like I said, I really would love to see huge contests as well, but we'll see. And yeah, I mean, we kept up about 150 people every day, or I don't exactly remember the number, but really massive amount of people, even during the Noun Winter, so the American Noun Winter. So we have both very loyal audience, and also an international expansion is taking place. And the team is stronger than ever, and this team is coming on, most of it is coming on every day, no matter what the hour is, and we've proven that in the 24-hour space. That's really crazy and impressive, and I don't know many other teams that are so dedicated in general, not only in the Noun space. So it's really, I think we have something special going on. And the last thing is, I mean, all the media that we're doing is really interesting, like all these experiments, like this live show now, the video, TikTok, Reels, YouTube. We're really experimenting with a lot of things, and the cadence of our experimentation is crazy. Like every week we're learning a ton of things, and so it's just a matter of time until we blow up.
Another contest that we ran this past month, which was really cool, was our cleanup contest. And that was totally inspired by Nouns in Singapore, who got funded by small grants, which is now called Noun Strategic Funding Works, to do a cleanup of a beach in Singapore. So they got together, wore Nounish outfits, and got the whole community together to clean up a beach on the eastern shore of Singapore. And then we were inspired by that. We had Wide Eyes Carl, who was the one that who sort of started that initiative. We had him on 9 o'clock, and then we thought, well, as an honor to him, why don't we do a contest to get people to do the same thing? So we offered up 3 prizes to that kind of initiative where people just had to go and do a cleanup, film it or take photos, and then put in the entries. And wow, like, did we ever get some crazy entries? Over 50 people sent in entries. We've been judging it for the last 3 days, and we haven't been able to come up with a winner, but we're hoping to have a winner by tomorrow. But everyone's a winner who put into that contest, because it's just amazing to see that kind of Nounish behavior. I think we got retweeted by Punk4156, one of the founders of Nouns. So I think that contest was a big success as well. So it's a good segue into one last thing that we wanted to talk about on this episode, which is some of our infrastructure ideas, I guess, and ways that we're trying to leverage the infrastructure that Nouns is already building, in this case, Prophouse. So Seneca and the team at Prophouse have been awesome about helping us to migrate our current rewards system from Coordinape over to Prophouse. For those that aren't aware, the way Coordinape works, it's a DAO tooling system that was designed by Wi-Fi. Not the internet Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi, I guess it's called.
Just a signal sending out builds.
So Wi-Fi designed it for their own needs as a DAO, and then they released it for any other DAOs to use. And essentially what you do is you input your team of people who's working on a given project, and then every period, in our case, every bi-weekly period, we all log on and allocate tokens based on contribution over the past 2 weeks. And then that's how we do our rewards. So it's very novel, very Web3. But we thought, we can do all of that, and we can use Prophouse. Why not? So we talked to Seneca, and he was nice enough to help us put together a Prophouse specifically for teams. So you can see it already live on the Prophouse site. And we're just waiting for some back-end work to be done on the tokens for us to be able to start using that shortly as our reward system. So that's pretty exciting. I think it's going to be neat, and it's part of a package that we're working on over the next 5 months to kind of create a one-click teams, if you will, or a coordinoun, if you will, a way for people to sort of pick up and hit the ground running with their teams for whatever project they're working on. How to manage it in a Web3 way, in a Nounish way, in a way that's very different from your typical corporate America. This is what you do. This is what you get paid for. So that's one thing that we're working at. And then while we were at it, talking to Prophouse, we thought, well, why don't we also use Prophouse for our contests? Because we're doing these contests once or twice or more than that per week, all these amazing entries, and we're currently voting on them just using emojis in the Discord, which is, far from ideal. So the idea is now we'll also have a second Prophouse, which is also already live on Prophouse, prop.house, and that's for contests. So we will load all of our contest entries into there and vote on them. And the voting people will be anyone who's on the council here for the Noun Square, as well as anyone who's so we have the knights and the squires, we call them, people who are involved in making these shows day to day. And then we've got Nouncelors will also all have tokens so they can weigh in, and hopefully also Nouners will be able to vote. So it'll be a really nice, robust group of people voting on these contests to make sure we have the fairest way possible to give our prizes out. Zargs, we have to wrap up here in a few, but I wanted to come to you to talk to us a little bit about our international community. So one of the reasons why we've been able to keep so many viewers up, or listeners rather, on the spaces over the quote-unquote Nouns winter in North America is undoubtedly because we've had so many people joining from Korea and Japan, Australia, from all over Europe. And you've got your finger on the pulse of that more than anyone because you're in the international channels on our Discord. So maybe you could speak a little bit about that.
Absolutely. And I just find it thrilling because accessibility is everything, and really there's so much of the world that we haven't reached into yet. So you've mentioned several of the smaller communities that are starting to come forward. And so we see Brazil is kind of at the forefront of it. And it's been so exciting to see what's going on in Singapore. They just had a wonderful weekend there with the convention, and it's just amazing. So we're looking at onboarding them into hosting and things like that has been a little challenging, but it's something that, I'm talking in the background with several people about doing. And I think the art contests have been a very big part of what's bringing people together, really at the center of everything. And I think it's so cool to see the different cultures and the different way they see nouns and present nouns in their world. And I love seeing the cultures where the children have their noggles and families and nature seem to be more involved in the art. And I really love seeing that because it's just kind of how nouns and the heart are integrated into this whole thing, because it's really about love in the center of it. It's about all of us being together on a mission that's fun and supports us in many ways, really.
On behalf of the Noun Square team, thank you so much for watching this video. We hope it was helpful to see what we're working on, and just as an update on everything that's going on over at the Noun Square. Obviously, we're pushing the boundaries, trying to take our Twitter spaces into different mediums. We're doing a live stream every single day over onto YouTube, trying to capture more audiences over there. We've opened up for the 23 hours that we're not doing Noun O'Clock shows. We've opened up our Noun Square Twitter Spaces platform to other communities from other sub-DAOs and extensions and international groups to create more content for everybody in a win-win that we think is going to be very promising. We've had amazing contests with really great artistic entries, as well as the cleanup contest, which created public goods all over the world. We're moving as much of our systems and infra over to Nouns Rails over at Prophouse, which is very exciting. And I think we're going to be able to systemize a lot of what we're doing here with our team for future teams at the DAO to be able to pick up and run with. And we think that's very exciting as well. And finally, we're reaching out as much as possible to international groups and audiences that aren't necessarily being reached by any other extension or sub-DAO in the Nouniverse. And that's really exciting as well, because those are people in Korea and Japan and all over Europe and Latin America who are coming into the fold, learning about nouns and then building for nouns. So thanks so much for watching this video. We'll report back in another month with what we've done in September, but this is what we've been doing so far at the Noun Square. Thank you very much, and we'll see you at the Square.